Have you ever heard the sound of a woman weeping in the dead of night, a sorrowful wail carried on the wind, seemingly from nowhere and everywhere at once? This isn't just a sound, it's an echo of a tragic tale, a spectral lament that has haunted the waterways and shadows of Mexico for centuries, chilling the hearts of those who hear it. Many claim to have heard this mournful cry, a sound that promises only heartbreak and a lingering question that keeps generations awake. Who is she, and what terrible, unending grief keeps her restless, forever searching along the riverbanks and darkened streets for something she can never reclaim? Across Mexico, from the bustling cities to the quietest villages, her name is whispered, La Llorona, the weeping woman. Her legend is woven into the very fabric of the land, a ghost story told to children as a cautionary tale, and to adults as a chilling reminder of sorrow's enduring power. Her presence is not confined to one place, but rather to the edges of perception, where the mundane meets the supernatural, and the past bleeds into the present. She is often seen near bodies of water, rivers, lakes, or canals, her form indistinct, a blur of white against the darkness, her cries echoing her eternal anguish. Descriptions of La Llorona are consistent yet elusive. She is typically depicted as a tall, slender woman, her face often obscured by a veil or turned away, so her features are never clearly seen. Her long, dark hair may be visible, sometimes disheveled, adding to her spectral, mournful appearance. She is always dressed in white, a simple, old-fashioned gown that seems to flow with her movements, or perhaps, with the wind itself. Her mournful wails, mis hijos, oh, my children, are her most defining feature, more impactful than any visual description, a sound that pierces the soul and signifies her unending search, a sound that has made countless hearts skip a beat in the dead of night, wondering if the legend is truly real. The heart of the legend lies in a terrible, unspeakable act. La Llorona is said to be the ghost of a woman who drowned her own children. Overcome by a fit of madness, rage, or despair, she cast them into a river, or a lake, or a canal, ending their young lives. Immediately after, perhaps in a moment of horrifying clarity, or perhaps as her own life ended, she was consumed by unimaginable regret. Her eternal torment is the punishment for this heinous crime, a perpetual search for the children she so cruelly took, a search she can never complete, forever doomed to weep for her lost offspring. Her anguished cries a constant echo of her profound sorrow, a warning to all who hear them. The most common version of her origin paints her as a beautiful young woman, often named Maria, from a humble village. She fell deeply in love with a wealthy caballero, a dashing Spanish nobleman who was captivated by her beauty but would not marry her due to their differing social classes. They had children together, but the caballero eventually abandoned Maria for a woman of his own standing. Enraged by his betrayal and facing the shame of abandonment and illegitimacy for her children, Maria snapped. In a fit of despair and vengeance, she committed the unspeakable act, hoping to somehow hurt the man who had wronged her, only to realize too late the monstrous depth of her own actions. This particular origin story, featuring a Spanish nobleman and an indigenous or mestiza woman, clearly roots the legend in the colonial era of Mexico. It speaks to the societal tensions, the class divisions, and the often tragic consequences of illicit affairs between different social strata during that period. The vulnerability of women, especially those of lower social standing, and the shame associated with illegitimate children, were harsh realities. The legend, in this form, becomes a dark mirror reflecting the difficult lives and social injustices faced by many women in a rigidly hierarchical society, where honor and reputation could mean everything, even life or death. While the Maria and the Caballero narrative is prominent, variations abound. Some tales suggest La Llorona was an indigenous goddess or a noble Aztec woman who drowned her children to prevent them from falling into the hands of the Spanish conquistadors, seeing it as a desperate act of preservation against foreign domination. Other versions simplify her identity, portraying her merely as a desperate mother, driven to madness by poverty or illness, making her crime a universal tragedy rather than one tied to specific historical circumstances. These different portrayals speak to the adaptability of folklore, how a core fear can manifest in narratives that resonate with varied cultural and historical contexts, making her grief accessible to all. The specifics of the children's demise also shift between tellings. In some, Maria drowns all her children at once. In others, she drowns one, then, horrified, drowns the rest, as if compelled by an unseen force. There are even versions where she is pregnant and kills her unborn child, or where she accidentally loses her children in a river and is blamed, her grief turning into a haunting. Regardless of the exact sequence, the constant remains the tragic loss of her offspring, and her eternal penance for their absence. It is this fundamental, heart-wrenching loss that fuels her spectral form and her never-ending, mournful cries, echoing the deepest fears of parenthood. Beyond being a terrifying ghost story, La Llorona serves a powerful cultural purpose. For generations, she has been used to instill obedience in children, warning them not to wander off alone at night, especially near bodies of water, lest La Llorona mistake them for her own lost children and drag them away. She also serves as a cautionary tale for women about the perils of uncontrollable emotion, of jealousy, and of seeking vengeance, reminding them of the sanctity of motherhood and the devastating consequences of abandoning or harming one's offspring. It's a story designed to evoke fear, but also to teach important societal lessons about responsibility and protection. Reports of La Llorona's presence are not limited to ancient riverbeds. She is said to appear in urban drainage canals, near lakes, and even in residential neighborhoods where a forgotten stream or a dry creek once ran. Her cries are often heard before she is seen, a disembodied sound that chills witnesses to the bone. Some accounts speak of her appearing in mirrors, or in the reflections on still water, her face finally visible, distorted by her agony. These sightings often occur late at night, under the pale moonlight, when the world is quietest, and the veil between worlds seems thinnest, making her presence all the more unsettling. While La Llorona is undoubtedly folklore, its persistence suggests a grounding in real human experience. Throughout history, infanticide, often driven by poverty, mental illness, or societal shame, has been a tragic reality in many cultures. The desperate acts of mothers pushed to their limits could certainly have sown the seeds for such a haunting tale. The intense grief of a mother who has lost a child, whether by accident or tragic choice, is a universal sorrow that can resonate deeply. The legend provides a dramatic, supernatural framework to process and remember these deeply painful, often taboo, human tragedies, giving a voice to unspeakable suffering. It is crucial to remember where the historical record ends and the folklore begins. While cases of infanticide are documented throughout history, there is no verifiable historical figure named La Llorona who systematically drowned her children and then haunted the land. The specific details of the nobleman and Maria are narrative embellishments, designed to give the story a compelling, relatable origin. What is real is the fear the legend evokes, the cultural memory it preserves, and the societal lessons it transmits. It is a powerful narrative, born from real anxieties and sorrows, but crafted and refined by generations of storytelling, transforming individual tragedies into a collective myth. La Llorona's influence extends far beyond Mexico's borders, carried by diaspora communities across the Americas. She is a figure deeply embedded in Latin American culture, appearing in literature, art, music, and film. Her image has evolved, sometimes depicted as purely evil, other times as a tragic, sympathetic figure. But the core elements remain: the white dress, the spectral presence near water, and above all, the haunting, sorrowful cries. Her story continues to be told and retold, adapting to new generations and new fears, but always retaining its primal power to evoke both terror and profound empathy for her unending plight. In contemporary retellings, La Llorona sometimes takes on new roles. She might become a symbol of ecological grief, weeping for polluted rivers and lost natural spaces, or even a metaphor for societal neglect and forgotten injustices. Filmmakers and writers have explored her story through horror, drama, and even feminist lenses, each interpretation adding another layer to her complex mythos. Yet, despite these modern twists, the fundamental fear of the ghostly mother, forever mourning her children and perhaps seeking replacements, persists. The echo of her cry remains a powerful reminder of ancient sorrows resonating in a modern world, forever linking us to the past. The psychological impact of La Llorona is profound. The tale taps into primal fears, the loss of children, the betrayal of a parent, and the idea of eternal, inescapable suffering. It is a story that speaks to the deepest anxieties about motherhood and the dark side of human nature when pushed to its breaking point. Hearing a sudden, unexplained wail in the night can trigger a visceral reaction, making the legend feel terrifyingly real, even to those who consciously dismiss it as mere superstition. It's a collective nightmare that reminds us of the fragility of life and the enduring power of guilt. So, the next time you find yourself by a quiet river, or a still lake, or even just walking down a silent street late at night, listen closely. If you hear a distant, mournful cry, a sound that chills you to the bone and whispers of profound sorrow, remember the legend of La Llorona. Is it merely the wind, or the distant howl of an animal? Or is it the eternal lament of the weeping woman, forever searching, forever weeping for what she has lost? The truth may remain elusive, but her sorrowful echo ensures that her haunting presence, and the lessons she embodies, will never truly fade away from the collective memory of Mexico and beyond.